live. Welcome to the live. Happy Wednesday and welcome to the live. Welcome. Glad to be here with you. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Welcome. Tell somebody to tell somebody. And welcome to the live. Today we're talking about how to use your polyvagal power to escape from narcissistic abuse. Hello, sweetie. Welcome. Hello. This is what we're talking about today. Polyvagal power and how your polyvagal power or your polyvagal nerve or your vagus nerve is an activating system to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. So for anyone who's experienced narcissistic abuse, whether you're still in it, you're escaping from it, you're coming out of it, this is what we're going to be talking about today, which is how empaths escape narcissistic abuse by activating and using the vagus nerve, which is basically polyvagal theory. So that's what we're talking about today, which is a different twist from the regular conversations on escaping narcissistic abuse. So welcome in, tell somebody to tell somebody, tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. This is what we're going to be focused on today, which is understanding how you escape narcissistic abuse using your vagus nerve as an activator. So it's basically polyvagal theory, which some people may be familiar with, and a lot may not be. But the focus today is on how empaths escape narcissistic abuse by activating polyvagal power. And polyvagal power refers to the vagus nerve. And we're going to talk about all things related to the vagus nerve, which connects your brain stem to all your organs, and particularly your parasympathetic nervous system, and how this is the key way to escape from narcissistic abuse. A regulated nervous system by understanding your vagus nerve, because trauma is held in the nervous system, in the body, somatically. So today we're uncovering how connecting to your polyvagal power, your vagus nerve, helps you escape from narcissistic abuse and activates your divine nervous system intelligence. So that's the focus today, and I'm excited to be here with you. Welcome in. And since we're talking about polyvagal theory and the vagus nerve, you might in the background hear some om sounds, because om is a primordial sound. And om, when you hum the word om, this is how you activate your vagus nerve as well. So we're going deep into the vagus nerve and understanding what it is, how you can use it to overcome and escape narcissistic abuse. So tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. Welcome in. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. And thank you for liking the live, and tell the whole world, particularly anyone who can benefit from this. We're talking about polyvagal power, which is basically about the vagus nerve and how empaths escape narcissistic abuse and activate the divine nervous system intelligence. This is what we're talking about today. So I'm very excited about this talk because, again, it puts power back in your hands for understanding and using an additional tool to escape from narcissistic abuse. And we all know how insidious and devastating and how wicked narcissistic abuse is. And so it's my hope that at the end of this session today, you'll be walking away with some clarity on how to escape narcissistic abuse. Hi, Live Free. Welcome in. So this is what the focus is on today. Polyvagal theory. How to escape narcissistic abuse once and for all by activating your vagus nerve. And this is really rooted in science. So let me get started. And then when people join, they join when they join, and we keep it moving. For a number of us who are here, I know you've tried affirmations, right? And affirmations are powerful. I love affirmations, but they may not be relevant to everyone. I also know that a lot of us here may have already, once and for all, exactly, Damalgam, once and for all. And I know you've journaled. You've cried. I know you've cried. I know you've prayed for clarity. And you've even cut toxic ties. But you still feel triggered. and you still attract chaos. You see, but your mind is still telling you it's over. But your body says we're still under attack. So even though your mind is saying it's over, your body still invites these dimensions that connect you to abuse. And today we're going to go into why. So this live today is not just about trauma. It's about the polyvagal key, which is a nerve that holds the map out of fear, shame, and spiritual hijack. So this live is not for everyone, but it's specifically for empaths, survivors, spiritual seekers, and leaders whose nervous systems have been wired by narcissistic abuse. So if you've ever experienced narcissistic abuse, again, this episode is not about trauma. We're talking about the polyvagal key, which is your vagus nerve, the nerve that holds the map out of fear, shame, and spiritual hijack. So if you're an empath, a light being, a light worker, a survivor, a spiritual seeker, a leader, whoever you are, this is for you. So let's get right into it. So prior to the 1990s, right, mainstream neuroscience and neurobiology view the nervous system as binary. You have the sympathetic nervous system, which deals with stress, fight, flight, and the parasympathetic nervous system that deals with calm, rest, and digestion. So that model was based on the old Newtonian model. Hey, Miss Wonder Woman, the old Newtonian model that said you observe things under a microscope. We know that's changed because we're now in the quantum model, which is about the observer effect. But it's important to realize that the human experience is non-linear, hey, soft things, and multidimensional and sacred. So trauma, especially chronic emotional abuse like narcissistic manipulation. I know some people are not comfortable with the term narcissism because it's often used, but here at Inner Mileage, we focus on qualitative but also scientific evidence. And so when I use these terms, I'm using these terms because they are rooted in evidence and an understanding of the evidence and how it relates to practical reality. So for individuals who've experienced abuse like narcissistic manipulation, it's important to realize that it doesn't fit into tidy binaries, right? The biggest alien, victims who go through such abuse, like me and you, are not just anxious. We become frozen. A lot of us become dissociated or fragmented, disembodied, hypervigilant, and hyper-adaptive to danger. And ancient systems already knew this, even before the Western paradigm with polyvagal theory arrived. In the ancient systems, and everything I'm talking about is prior to the 1990s. I'm giving you some historical context. Ancient systems like Ayurveda already knew that you go through tamas, which is about freezing, or rajas, which is flight. Okay, I like the explosions. I'm not sure where that's coming from. I would take it, right? And also sattva, which is the place of peace. Then we know in Taoism, there's this thing about the yin and yang and the void. And then in the Kabbalah, there's this talk about the Sephirot, or from the tree of life, which is not just about action, but it's also about stillness. So these ancient traditions understood that the nervous system acts as a vibrational field, not just medical symptoms. And then after the 1990s, in the late 20th century, there was a gentleman called Stephen Porges, Dr. Stephen Porges, a neuroscientist and psychiatrist who came up with this notion of polyvagal theory. And poly comes from the word many, and vagal means the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the nerve that connects your brainstem to all your other organs. So your nervous system doesn't just react. This is a central finding from polyvagal theory. What your nervous system does is it runs threats based on relational cues like voice tone, facial expression, and body posture, just like you're doing now, watching me and analyzing the way I'm moving and the words I'm using. And as a result, there are three neuro-states. The first is in your ventral vagal complex, which is a place where you feel safe and social. The topic is about how to use your vagus nerve to activate and escape narcissistic abuse. So the ventral vagal complex is a regulated state of calm, connection, eye contact, joy, and coherence. That's the first state. Then the second state is the sympathetic nervous system, which activates stress response like fight, flight, and so forth, right? So if you're ever in a place of fight or flight, that's the sympathetic nervous system. Then there's the dorsal vagal complex that deals with whether you freeze or fawn or collapse or get dissociated. So there are three neural states. I'll repeat them again. The first is the vagal complex, which is what makes you feel safe and social. This is how you feel connection with other people. Then the sympathetic nervous system, which is where your stress response is, fight or flight. Then the dorsal vagal complex, which is where you become immobilized, which is where you deal with freeze, fawn, dissociation. So the point is you go through the ventral nervous system, which is about safety and being social. The second is the sympathetic nervous system, which is about being mobilized or fight or flight. And the third is the dorsal, which is about being immobilized, where you freeze. We have to address each state, Yvonne, exactly. So empaths often live in a blend of one, fawning in the ventral state, and meaning over-functioning in social spaces. Hi, how you doing? Hi. I like you. Over-functioning. That's the first. The second is freezing in the dorsal state, meaning checking out to survive narcissistic rape. That's how you dissociate. Or the third is flight in the sympathetic nervous system, always panicking, always hyper vigilant, and always preparing to escape. And each response is adaptive, not defective. It's an adaptation to our trauma, because this is how the nervous system's nonverbal language of survival functions. So you may be doing things that you may not even understand why you're doing them. So let's talk more about the vagus nerve, and this nerve that is connected from the brain stem through all your organs. First of all, the nervous system, the vagus nerve, arises in the brain stem, right? Which is right somewhere here, right? And it goes all the way down the neck, through the chest, to the abdomen, and it connects your heart, your lungs, your voice box, your stomach, your liver, your kidney, your spleens, and your intestines. So I'll go through it again. Hypervigilant meaning always looking for what's going to happen, what's going to go wrong, pet base. So the vagus nerve, again, starts from your brain stem down to your neck, to your chest and abdomen, and it connects the organs of your heart, your lungs, your voice box, your stomach, your liver, kidneys, and spleen, and intestines, right? And it interfaces with the entire enteric nervous system, or your brain gut. So some medical facts I want to go through. 90% of the nerves in your vagus nerve carry data from your body to your brain. And this is because it regulates your heart, your digestion, your immune response, and even anti-inflammatory reflexes. The vagus nerve is also essential to facial expressions, pupil dilations, and even the tonation of your voice, which is key to how others perceive safety. So that's the medical dimension. From an esoteric perspective, the vagus nerve is the bridge between worlds. This is where it gets interesting, because it links the conscious mind, the subconscious body, and the energetic field. Come on, somebody tell me if I'm talking to you, if I'm just talking to myself. I know it's a little technical, but you got to tell me if I'm talking to you or if I'm just talking to myself. Somebody tell me. I'll say it again. The esoteric utility of the vagus nerve is one, thank you, Blessed for Life. Thank you. Love Goddess. Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, the vagus nerve, thank you, Damalgam. The vagus nerve is the bridge between two worlds. Thank you, the biggest. I appreciate it. Thank you, Yvonne. I really appreciate it. Hello, May K. So the vagus nerve is the bridge between two worlds, the conscious mind, the subconscious body, and the energetic field, this vagus nerve. In Gnostic mysticism, it echoes what is called the pleroma, which is the sacred channel from source to incarnation. In ancient Egypt, it corresponds to Ma'at. Thank you, Yvette. Ma'at, which is the nerve of alignment, harmony, and truth. So let's talk about how the vagus nerve functions, particularly when you are under narcissistic attack or abuse. Particularly if you've been through it, you're going through it, you've come out of it, you've escaped it for years. See, narcissistic abuse is not just mental. It is about physiological programming. Because what the narcissist is a master or mistress of chemicals. Because the way the narcissist manipulates you is by giving you the trauma bond, love, which creates oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical, then the discard, which creates cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So what the narcissist does is manipulate your chemicals. Oxytocin high, cortisol low. Oxytocin, cortisol. And it mirrors the same kind of thing that happens to you when you have an addiction like gambling. So gaslighting rewires your perception of reality. Silent treatment triggers a dorsal collapse. And love bombing mimics entanglement only to be drawn and replaced with threats, which creates sympathetic surges. It's a mixologist. I love it, Yvonne. That's exactly it. So your body becomes a cyclical battleground of shutdown, panic, false hope, and collapse. What I'm trying to tell you is the narcissistic abuse is not just in your mind, it's in your body as well. The body, and we ignore the body so much. That's why I'm talking about the vagus nerve, the biggest. So your body becomes this battleground of shutdown, panic, false hope, collapse. This is why empaths, deeply attuned, relationally intelligent beings, often become hostages of their own vagus nerve, Heather. You don't stay in abuse because you're weak. You stay in abuse because your nervous system has been trained to normalize abuse. Hi, Ellie. Hi, Retrogo. Hi, Melissa. This is what's happening, Ellie. Your body has been trained to normalize abuse. So you live addicted to abuse and you don't even know what to do without abuse because your nervous system has been reprogrammed. So you might say things to yourself like, I know, Heather, I know, Heather. Oh, pet base, this is what we're talking about. I'm getting there. So, and if you want to know how to fix it, you should join my upcoming masterclass, June 27th to 29th, and sign up today at innermanage.com. But I'm going to tell you some of this. The reason is because you start to negotiate with yourself and say things like, if I can keep the peace, maybe I'll be safe. But peace is not safety. It's submission under duress, red fashion. Fawning is not love. It's how you override the dorsal system. It's a neurological prayer to survive. So you can actually rewire your vagal tone. My body starts to twitch with 7 people, Miss Wonder Woman. That's your body giving you the intelligent information because the body cannot lie. You can lie to yourself, but you cannot, if you're paying attention, your nervous system is giving you all the cues. Your hair, the hair on your skin, the blood in your body, all the tingling sensations, all the chemicals in your body are all telling you it's safe, it's not safe. And if you don't have the right programming, you start to think things that are not good for you are safe, and what's bad for you. Stockholm Syndrome, you read my mind, Yvonne. So, of course, there are certain practices to activate your vagus system, and we can talk about it if you want to work with me directly or book a system, a free consultation on my website, or join the upcoming class. But I want to talk to you about a little bit about how you begin to integrate exactly, Miss Wonder Woman. Water, nobody but God. Walter, I'm not sure what you mean. Explain what you mean. But I want to talk a little bit about the quantum principle. Are narcissists getting calmer in 2025 because of universal upgrades? You answer the question, Reese. You know the answer. Look around you. You know the answer. So the observer effect means attention collapses potential into actual. So when your attention is hijacked by trauma, your vagal state collapses reality into familiar pain. It's a nice way of saying that if you're conditioned by trauma, then you're going to see trauma everywhere. In the same way, if you want to buy a red Ferrari, all of a sudden you start seeing red Ferraris everywhere. This is how genius our mind creates patterns. If you want to buy a Rolls Royce, all of a sudden you start seeing Rolls Royces everywhere. You want to buy a postmodern house, all of a sudden you start noticing postmodern houses everywhere you drive. So if you think the world is not safe and then narcissists come to get you, guess what you're going to look for? Your body is going to, the vagus nerve program will start looking for narcissists wherever they may be. The nervous system can lie. Trauma, pain, stored causes simulation. I don't understand your question, Jai, so please ask it another way. Living in songs, but I win no money. Walter, I don't think you're here for what we're here for. So I might have to get you out of here. I don't understand the questions you're asking and what you're saying. So we're gonna get you out of here because we don't have time to do this, right? So thank you for coming, Walter, and bye-bye. So this is what happens, right? This is what happened. The law of assumption. So you must exit the frequency of fear to collapse a new outcome and regulating the vagus nerve. And you can do this simply by doing what I'm doing, which is this motion from the kind of nuke under your ears and down the stretch of your neck, and do this repeatedly and gently, right? Regulating the vagus nerve is possible. Another way you regulate the vagus nerve is by making humming sounds like om, the primordial sound. Oh, this is why I'm playing the om sound in the background. You see? So the vagal tone is linked to your heart rate variability. I've talked about the heart rate variability before, measured by the Heart Math Institute. They use these MRI studies to measure how your heart creates electromagnetic frequencies. And if you have a regulated vagal tone because you do breath work, or you sing, or you hum, this is what happens. Why do I want to challenge them now, especially being an awakened empath? When you become an empath, you have no reason to challenge anybody because your very being reveals people's inconsistency and incoherence and decoherence. Now, the desire to challenge people is similar to seeking revenge. And if you desire to seek revenge, you're actually short-circuiting the ability for karma, which is more effective than any revenge you can think about, to manifest. So coming back, the heart rate variability is a fractal rhythm similar to Fibonacci sequences in pine cones. We're talking about sacred geometry. Am I talking to myself, or am I making sense? And these sequences is sort of what you see in pine cones or in galaxies or in flowers or in DNA. These spirals. And empathic healing, thank you, Heather, is a biofractal using your breath, your tone, your heartbeat, and your thoughts to align with universal math. So regulation is not about being calm. It is becoming into mathematical resonance with divine intelligence. In, out. In, that's math. That's math. That is mathematics. We're talking sacred mathematics here. So you don't just heal, you entrain the universe to your wholeness. And it's important to know that if your vagal tone is dysregulated, your body still resonates with the old cycle. So you might avoid the narcissist physically, but you attract their frequency in others. So for example, in intimate relationships, when people leave an intimate relationship with a narcissist and they want to try dating, they attract other narcissists. And the question becomes, why am I still attracting narcissists? Because I've released them from my mind. Because your body and your vagus nerve is still attuned to that frequency. So until you deal with it somatically, you're going to keep attracting them. So even though you might avoid narcissists physically, you see, cutting off people does not mean that you're no longer in resonance with them. Coming into resonance, I know you hated the biggest, I get you. You see, and most of the times you're thinking instead of listening and feeling right fashion. You should be in the feeling mode. Because let me tell you something. Feeling, particularly in the Western sense, for the last 500 years was made anathema to reason. Because since the age of enlightenment 500 years ago, it was all about logic, logic, logic. That's why Joan of Arc and others like her were burned at the stake. So feeling became a bad thing until the late 19th century and the early 20th century, when Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud came and understood how early capitalism was affecting the psyche of people. So a lot of people are dissociated from feeling, dissociated from their bodies, fragmented from their bodies. Because this is what the system does to you. This is what your parents do to you. This is what your teachers do to you. This is what your friends do to you. This is what your neighbors do to you. So even though you may avoid the narcissist, you're still attracting their frequency in others. And don't forget, to wake up from narcissistic abuse in your own individual experience is to wake up to the true nature of how the whole world functions and has functioned up till now in 2025. It was all under the spirit of Jezebel and the spirit of Narcissus. If you don't believe me, give me an example of a kind CEO who's an empath. I'm waiting. Anybody? Anybody? I'm going to wait. You want to tell me about a kind CEO who's an empath? You want to give me a name of a kind politician who's an empath? There may be one or two. Maybe Cory Booker. Who? Which politician? Oh, Reese, why are you doing this to me? Now, why are you doing this? Huh? He might be an empath. I don't know. Don't do this to us. We know this game too well. Okay, don't play this game. I'm messing with you a little bit. Abraham Lincoln was an empath. Was he really an empath? Michelle Obama is an empath. I mean, she was a partner at an incredible law firm. Maybe Mandela. He spent 27 years, and I went to Robben Island. You're right. I like the Mandela call-out. Jesus was not a politician, and I like to call Jesus Yeshua. That's the real name, Yeshua. So the point is, the solution to escaping narcissistic abuse isn't mental. It is somatic. It's a vagal transmutation. And this is one of the reasons why I practice yoga. And the kind of yoga I practice is Kemetic yoga, the yoga that is in the pyramids in Egypt on the hieroglyphics. Ronald Reagan, Caitlin, come on. You know, Ronald Reagan actually came up with the phrase, make America great again. A lot of people don't know that. So make America great again comes from Ronald Reagan. I left after 25 years. I'm so sorry to hear that. So the point is, as I'm saying, Reese, Yvonne, everybody, the solution isn't mental. It's about coming into a regulated vagus nerve, meaning you must shift your resonance state to make energetic alignment possible. So you must shift from being addicted to predatory patterns in yourself. And this is what is about resonance or no resonance is about. It's about a nervous system saying, I am now magnetic to this frequency, or I am no longer magnetic to this frequency. Has anybody watched a documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know? It's about 20 years old. What the bleep do we know? Anybody? Because that's what this is about. So with a regulated nervous system, there is natural stillness, right? It's more than okay to feel. You're supposed to feel. You see, that's the point of Vipassana meditation, which is to become aware of your feelings. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you, everything, soft things, is about sensations. Anger is a sensation. Can you describe what anger is like? Anger happens and you feel the sensation in your belly, and then in your heart and your breath. In the same way, joy is also a sensation. You feel it in your heart and your chest, right? Recently had an alignment done in my vehicle. We need it even more precisely, Yvonne. Everything is about sensations. Anger is hate is a sensation. You feel it. You feel your saliva drying. You feel more cortisol coming up. That's the sensation. Love is a sensation. Lust is a sensation. So all we are is in the business of sensation. What's a sensation? A sensation is a phenomenon that arises in the body that you feel. You see, so if somebody says, I want to win the lottery, what they're saying is, I want the sensation of freedom. So all of us human beings having a spiritual experience are in the business of sensations. We just want to feel. We want to feel safe. We want to feel loved. We want to feel superior. We want to feel inferior. It's all sensations. I will start to value other people's feelings over mine. That's what they did to you to set you up, Miss Wonder Woman. I felt that hate is a sensation that narcissists want, because a narcissist is a master of manipulating cortisol, the chemical of cortisol, which creates a sensation that leads you to dissociate and feel stressed. Everything is about chemicals. That's why people use chemical drugs to feel. It's all about sensations and chemicals. That's all it is. So when you start to regulate yourself, you regulate your breath, you regulate your stillness, you forgive, you release wild lotus wisdom, you cut cords. This is how you start to integrate, because the point is, we're not talking about healing for the sake of, and this is deep healing work. And for those who are interested, book a one-on-one session with me. We can go deep. Also, join my upcoming masterclass on escaping narcissistic abuse. Sign up today at innermileage.com. It'll be from June 27 to 29, 3 days. But you get out of fight or flight and start healing your nervous system. Exactly. Because healing is about remembering what your body knew before trauma, before gaslighting, before the ancestral wounding, some of which you carry in your blood, Dawn Marie, from those who came before you. Some of my favorite foods, I love to drink a lot of probiotics. I'll show you. Just a second, right? Just a second. So, because you asked the question, I just like to be real. You see, red fashion, that's for you. And I love to drink this probiotic a lot. Sigi, right? Sigi. For those who, Sigi, if you're watching this, right, know that we empaths are talking about this and you do this. So that's an example, some examples. I eat a lot of fish, red fashion, a lot of fish, no meat, no chicken, and I need to cut down on carbs, but I eat a lot of fish. This is what my body is attuned to, and a lot of lemons, as you can tell, right? A lot of clementines, So to answer the question, right? I just wanted to give you true. Sigi, sponsor me. That's right. Or let's help the world be a better place. So this is the point. Synergy. Okay, what is synergy, Yvonne? I don't know what that is. So the point is, we are here to guide you. Eggs are great. Eggs are great. Veggies are really great. And the reason for asking is because it's so important to balance the chemicals within. You said it, red fashion. This is exactly, thank you, Wonder Woman, Miss Wonder Woman, you're amazing. Reese Ahmed, you don't think our current government is handling adrenochrome and human trafficking? We 8 warriors from us. Our problem is in poison food and chemical pharmaceuticals. Yeah, okay. Cold pressed probiotics, I get it. Reese, I understand everything you're saying, and let's be more on good and becoming good and becoming more righteous based on our own self-initiation. And when we become that, naturally, that's what defeats evil, whatever evil looks like, right? Because remember, the saying goes, we fight not against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high and low places, right? Oh, I take zeolite to... What is zeolite, Pet Beige? Tell me more about zeolite. I love the direction you're leading. It's powerful. Thank you, Nash. One love, one love, one love. Men's Life Coach, I appreciate you being here. I can tell you're a spiritual person. Red fashion. So this is the story. So for anybody who wants to ask some questions, particularly on Instagram and YouTube, come on in. Let me read some of these comments. Vago Tone, Ellie Wynn, Live Free. Excellent. The way you're describing this from attack my knock abuse. Ellie Wynn, thank you so much, Ellie. That's exactly it. Oh, you watched What the Bleep Do We Know? That's amazing. What the Bleep Do We Know? If you can find a link to it, maybe put it in the chat for those who are interested, right? But let's answer some questions, right? Let's answer some questions. Let's get some questions in here. Let me turn on the volume on this Om chant, right? Let me turn on this volume. Get some questions in here. Light eliminates darkness simply by being. That's exactly it. That's exactly. Oh, there you are. Long time no see. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So tell us, what has been your experience with the vagus nerve and trauma in your body? I know you do a lot of good work with domestic violence and things like that. I don't want to put you out there. Tell me, what's on your mind today?
Well, I was just wanting to join. I didn't know my video would be on here. I was just trying to listen to the video. I'm sorry.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. Let's go for it. I want to hear what's on your mind. Teach. Express yourself. Oh, she left. Okay, that's all right. She fell off. So this is what the story is about, right? The story is about coming to full understanding that trauma is stored in your body. So the practices, what are your body-based practices? How do you come back to your body? How do you use your breath? What are you feeding yourself? What are you watching? What are you listening to? You see, these are all things that help you heal somatically. Do you go for deep tissue massages? Do you go for Reiki massages? Right? Do you go running? Do you do cold plunges? Cold plunges are very good for the vagus nerve. Do you take a warm shower and for the last 30 seconds, adjust it to cold so you can get cold plunge? Kind of here, I'm inspired a little bit by the work of the Dutch master Wim Hof or Wim Hof. Cupping is really powerful, right? With the cups all over your body, that's acupuncture. Going to a chiropractor, very powerful, right? What do you call the acupuncture? Acupuncture works on your energy system. Not absolutely that. Bathing mat is powerful. Absolutely not. It's refreshing. It's in alignment. Exactly right, Nash. The sauna. Oh, really powerful. Cold shocks. That's exactly it. And cold shocks are so good for really putting the body in this dorsal state, really powerful state to wake you up. Osteopathy, yoga, meditation, that's powerful. Massages, especially deep tissue massages, that pushes the trauma out of your dancing. That's why we're always dancing. We're not just dancing. Reiki, Dawn Marie, keeping your mouth shut and just breathing through the nose. Red fashion, if that's probably the highest way to regulate yourself, which is silence. Singing. I want to hear you sing, Dawn Marie. Do you want to come on and sing a song for us? Because I'm sure you have a great singing voice. Singing. Singing is powerful. And actually, singing is not only powerful, but singing also activates the dorsal. Karaoke, I love that. Laughing. Singing activates the vagus nerve. And not just singing, but even humming. Just try that. Try humming wherever you are. Releasing. Breathing, especially, Yvonne, to your point, when it comes to breathing, a lot of people think they know how to breathe. But the point is, let me tell you something about breathing. With breathing, you're not breathing. Breathing is happening on its own without you. You're not the one breathing. And if you want to activate breathing into your parasympathetic nervous system, there's a strategy called Wim Hof breathing is really great. The rule of 4, in, out, in, out. But the kind of breathing that I found most instructive is yogic breathing, which is simply to breathe in and out through the nose, not the mouth. In and out. Exactly. Natural remedies, all kinds of plants. Exactly. Plant therapies, all kinds of plants, ashwagandha, lion's mane, etc., etc. And people go even further than that, whether they're empathogens or entheogens or whatever they are, right? Breathing through the nose in and out is exactly it, Nash. It's really hard to do. Reggae music, Pet Bass. You said it. Reggae. I like Pet Bass. I like him. I love everyone, but I like Pet. This is exactly what it is. So the more you curate an environment around you, and the environment I'm talking about is who you are exposed to, that's your diet. Who you spend time with, that's your diet. What you eat, that's your diet. What you put on your body, that's your diet. What colors you wear, that's your diet. Who you choose to engage with, that's your diet. What you read, that's your diet. Hugging trees. Oh, people make fun of tree hugging, but I remember part of my healing journey, I would go to parks and not only hug the trees, but touch the trees and talk to the trees. And sometimes the trees is all I had. Oh. Sometimes all I had was a tree, and maybe that's all I needed. MK Ultra has done a number on our nervous system. Yeah, but you know, MK Ultra is already mainstream. Eating mushrooms, I love that. MK Ultra is already everywhere. It's all we're talking. The Matrix is the Matrix. You don't even have to worry about the Matrix, right? You talk about the Matrix that you've created outside the Matrix. That's what it's about. Grounding, barefoot in grass. That's exactly it. A reason. You are hitting a lot of knowledge. I can tell you're just bursting at the seams, and I love where you are and how this feels for you. Trees. Kathleen, what was your question? What was your question? Trees are alive, eating mushrooms, pet-based, powerful. Humming is really good. No weapon ever, Don Marie, ever. So, Big Dog, good morning. How you doing? I'm so glad. I've used exclamation marks all the time. Melissa, I get it. Can you please give one example of narcissistic abuse? What to be aware of? I'm 30 years in and number to what a healthy relationship is. What do you mean, Melissa? Ask you a specific question. I'll answer it. What exactly do you want to know? And I'll answer the question. Just go for it, Melissa. So this is what it's about. Listening to birds sing, oh, that's beautiful. And even if you live in a place where nature is not accessible, playing the sounds of the rain, playing the sounds of the forest, playing the sounds of the ocean, listening to solfeggio frequencies, plants, Diana, having plants in your apartment, those are sentient beings, the birds. Whether you listen to the bird, white rain, exactly, Nash. These are all powerful things that all heal the body somatically, right? Narcissists are just open vessels for demons. Yes, you're right. But we are also grateful. I know, let me speak for myself. I am grateful for all the narcissists that came to my life. I am grateful for all the narcissists that came into my life in the same way I'm grateful for the positive, highly spiritual teachers I have. Because without the narcissists in my life, all the family members and lovers and wives, I would not be here with you today. Without the wickedness and gaslighting and self-abandonment that I did from the narcissist, I would not be sitting here with you today. You said it, kiss my Chrissy. So without this the demonic attack, I would not have found the opposite. It's not a question. I added to your list about, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Kathleen. I got it. Thank you. Yeah, this is what it is. So I'm so grateful for these parasites in my body. Yes, exactly, Reese. But you see, the parasites have their own mind, but you overcome every mind by connecting to the one consciousness. So once you connected to the one consciousness, Reese, there's no other consciousness to worry about because there's only one love. 8 billion stories, but there's only one. We're 8 billion avatars playing one game, right? So Melissa, let's see. Yes, he did. I feel hope. Yes, with Molly, Mottling, Ivory. Yeah. So this is what it is. The lesson is the narcissist. Exactly. We are one. And the narcissist came simply to show you how you were self-hating and conditioned to self-hate, which is why you were able to attract them. And the narcissists know that they are a hateful person who is a false person, which is why they think you are inferior for spending time with them. Because if you were superior, you would not spend time with them. So that's what gives them the false sense of superiority. The lesson is the narcissist. And when I say you're right, Yvonne, it's not just the one narcissist in your life. It is the coven of narcissists that you've dealt with, and knowing that narcissistic abuse is the way the world works. Show me which corporation you can work with prior to 2020, let me be fair, where you could get ahead without being narcissistic or developing narcissistic traits in some way. So even at Harvard Business School, one of the ways you're graded is through something called the Socratic method. So you can't go to Harvard Business School and just be quiet. You have to demonstrate extroversion, being the life of the party, and you're graded on that. Which is why the scholar Susan Cain wrote the book called Quiet, showing that empaths and introverts are actually as intelligent as the extroverts, because extroversion and narcissism were highly prized. The knock will call me dumb and stupid, probably because I couldn't figure out who oh, Dawn Marie. That bothers me. I'm so sorry, Dawn Marie. I'm so sorry. Is narcissism on a spectrum? Yes. Narcissism is the highest spectrum of evil and wickedness. Aunt Alice. Does that answer your question? Law school, of course, soft things. This is what it is, right? Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a good thing because in the Buddha Dharma, the first thing you confront are the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths are life is suffering. There's a reason why we suffer. There's a way to end suffering. And the way to end suffering is through the Noble Eightfold Path. And on the Noble Eightfold Path, one of the indicators of the Noble Eightfold Path is something called right vocation. So actually, the kind of job that you do or how you do your job is a kind of a worship to the divine. Thank you, Reese. You're so kind. I accept. I am a shaman indeed. I accept. You see? So how do you use your vocation, even if you're working in a vocation you don't care about, is to think about doing no harm. And as you do no harm, you will eventually be pushed into a vocation that's aligned to purpose, where you absolutely not only do no harm, but you do a lot of good. You see? Narcissistic behavior can be hidden in drive for success because it's mainstream. The whole thing is narcissistic, which is why you cannot be upset at narcissists, because narcissists are just playing the earth game. And we play that earth game too until we wake up to the reality that not only can we escape the hell realm, which is the earth game, we can create heaven right here. And to create heaven, you have to be a little delusional. And delusional in terms of believing that you deserve it and you can do it. Entrepreneurship is an expression of self. That it is. Me doing good attracts them in the first place. It takes time to believe that. This is what happens, men's coach. You see? So Melissa, I remember being taught at a very early age that putting other people before it was the right thing to do. It became a habit because I was rewarded each time I achieved it, even at work. And this is how you are manipulated to give and self-abandon. Because the best way to give is always from a full cup. So if your glass is always full, you don't worry about giving from the overflow, right? And I'm not going to overflow it. So if you're always pouring to yourself and you make it a habit to fill your cup every day through meditation, through self-care, through self-love, then you always have a lot to give. But an empath, because of the quality of and remember, for people to feel empathy, they have to pay a premium for it. To feel empathy, you have to go to the Burj Khalifa or the Ritz-Carlton or the Intercontinental or the Bentley dealership or the Rolls-Royce dealership or the BMW dealership or the Porsche dealership or the high-end neighborhood with the high-end homes. And be like, yes, Mr. So-and-so. Yes, Dr. So-and-so. Yes, madam. Or fly first class or business class. This is how empaths treat people. And the way we treat people has been commoditized as a premium price, and we just give it away for free. This is why we're conditioned, Melissa, to put other people before us, because the quality of energy we're giving is the same quality you pay for the Ritz-Carlton. Am I making sense? One big chess game, you need to know the game plays to win. You said it, and it becomes predictable, Reese. I've been married for 38 years, and I think he has narcissistic traits. What do you mean, Alice? Do you want to come online and ask the question or share what's going on? I want to know, because maybe we can help you overcome this. It takes time for new information. Exactly, it does take time, man. It's life coach. It really does. Empaths have true knowledge and intentions. That's right, which is why when we were unhealed, we had caregivers or parents who blinded us to our genius by saying we're too much, or we don't know how to deal with you, or you're just like your father, or you're just like your mother, or you're too sensitive. These are all spells to keep you trapped. The system is set up that way. It's a business model for the unconscious. The whole system is run by the spirit of Jezebel, Yvonne. So although the words narcissism are thrown around by people trying to act like they know what it means, in fact, it is a truth. It's a truism. That's why now you see narcissism being written about in The Guardian, in the BBC, in the New Atlantic, in the Wall Street Journal. You know, I even saw an article yesterday, I think it was on BBC, about single being the new currency, or maybe it was The Guardian. So all these things that we've been talking about as spiritual people, now the mainstream is like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. This is what it is. Empathy is a currency, and empathy is expensive. And we've been giving it away like it's nothing. And this is why the narcissists get obsessed with us. Let me invite you, Anne. I'll invite you. Let's see if we can invite you, Anne. Let me find you. maybe we can take your question. Where are you, Anne? I don't see you. Or maybe you can click on request, and it might pull you in, Anne. I'm not sure. Right? You might want to try that, Anne, and that might bring you in. Right? Let me see if I can do this. Can I? No, I can't. And I don't see you in the list here. So you might have to invite yourself, man, to ask the question or request. I think there's a request sign. And then click on it, you can come online. Mainstream takes a word and changes it for their benefit. The woke word was the West, right? But nobody can take the word empathy because we're talking about divinity. And these are unusual times. And these are unusual times focused on divinity. You see? So this is what it's about. Anne, you want to try it again? I saw you came and vanished. Try it again and I'll pull you in, right? Because when you're dealing with true divinity, it cannot be mimicked. And this is why the narcissists are so obsessed with empaths, because empaths have something narcissists cannot mimic. And that's empathy. And empathy is what makes you connected to your divine nature. Do you see the whole thing? We are here to awaken. You said it. You said it. This is the whole kit and caboodle. So when you're connected to this divine technology, you understand what's going on in the world. But as the saying goes, the Christians will say that be in the world, but not of it. And your nervous system, your vagus nerve is the key to that. Your body is the key to that. You see? So this is the whole kit and caboodle. This is the whole message. This is the message. The message is healing is in your body. And having sound somatic practices, being able to connect to your vagus nerve by regulating yourself and making self-regulation a habit, because you've already made dysregulation a habit, anxious. So how do you make regulation a habit? So you make dysregulation an unconscious habit because of your trauma, my trauma. So how do we make regulation a conscious habit? Through self-care practices that enable our nervous systems to be regulated. Because when your nervous system is regulated, you no longer are a magnetic match for narcissists. They will try, but it won't stick. The meek will inherit when the masses come. The meek are already inherited. What do you think this is, Reese? You know what it is. The first will be last and the last will be first. These are laws. So when you understand this, you have no fear. Because let me tell you a secret. Everyone here has already experienced deep wickedness above and beyond what the average person has. You see, I'm so glad, Miss Wonder Woman, and very fashion, I used to pray to God, may that knock vibe never reach me. I got the power of determination instant. Exactly. And discernment. And discernment comes from regulating the nervous system. You see? So I want to tell you, my family, my friends, dealing with a narcissist taught me the importance of loving myself and learn to reach and let go. Exactly. Because the moment you start to love yourself, Diana, you're no longer energetically resonant to hate. And the narcissist can only trigger you when they make you hate yourself, right? Or hate them. And when you do not hate yourself or hate the narcissist, they can't reach you. They become like, I don't know if you saw the movie. What's that Russell Crowe movie where he had schizophrenia? He was a professor with schizophrenia. Does anybody remember that movie? And the reason I'm bringing it up is in the beginning, his schizophrenia was represented by this girl and Paul Bettany's character always screaming at him, right? And at the end, a beautiful mind, thank you, Kitty. And at the end, when he had overcome, thank you, Diana, he had overcome those demons, Paul Bettany's character and Little Screaming Girl were there. The difference is they were walking around, moping, falling around, but they had no more power. It's the same thing that happens to narcissists. When you start to embody self-love and they cannot trigger you into hate, they become toothless and poisonless. It's so sad people are falling off my life because you are falling in love with your life, Miss Wonder Woman. And what you're feeling sad about is you gave them love, but what they gave you was performance. You see? So we are food supply to the narcissist. Exactement. Vegas, what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. And no, it doesn't. It permeates the whole body and heals the body. That's scorpions with no bite. This is it. You see, a beautiful mind. Ellie, thank you so much. So, family, this is the message for today. When in doubt, come to the body. Always listen to the body. What is the message the body's trying to tell you? What is the energy trying to tell you? And when you start to listen to the body will start to know that you trust it. So your intuition gets louder and louder and louder until you do nothing, until you're guided by your intuition or your clairsentience or your clairaudience or your claircognizance. You see? And this is not magic. This is a natural graduation from purging yourself from anything that's demonic or negative. So, family, is this landing? How is this landing for you before we go? Was I just talking to myself or did I talk to you? What are you walking away with? And by the way, if you want more, you can always book a one-on-one free session with me. You get a 30-minute chat and we can see if we're a match for each other. And even if we're not a match, I'll tell you the truth, right? Of course we are chosen, Reese. We are chosen. What else is this? You're chosen, I'm chosen, we're all chosen, right? I like you, Reese. You're a positive disruptor, right? So this is what it is. The vagus nerve is our magic wand, Pet Base. You said it so well. And I want to thank you so much for your time and your interest and your attention and for your energy. Ellie and Soul and Melissa and everybody. And I just want to send you a lot of good energy this Wednesday, July 11th. There's a full moon out. If it's not cloudy where you are, check out the full moon, and you can talk to the full moon if you want, and know that there's absolutely no one like you. So I want to thank you for your time and your energy and your attention. Thank you so much, Yvonne, and I'm sending you good energy, right? Good energy, and best wishes to you for the rest of the week. And I'm going to be going on another retreat, so for about 7 days. So we will not have a live this on the 7th on Friday. The next live will be the week of, and I'll put out a sticker just so you know. It will be the week of the 23rd. So the next live will be on the 23rd. Thank you so much. I want to send you good energy. Keep tuning in. Check out my Escaping Narcissistic Abuse class, which is from the 27th to 29th. Enroll and be powerful. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. And I want to thank you all. The strawberry moon, exactly. Thank you so much, Reese. You are a fellow shaman. And I send you peace and light and love in all that you do. Keep ascending. Keep healing, knowing that healing is in the body, Brittany. Healing is in the body. And the vagus nerve is the highway. Yes? Oh, yeah, new foundation. Just go to my website, innermileage.com. So that's INNERMILEAG.com. Or you could the link is in the bio on my TikTok bio. Inner Mileage, and all the information is there. If you want more information, just send me a DM, and I'm happy to answer your question. I hope to see you in the class, June 27th to 29th. One love, people. One love, one love, one destiny. One love, one love, one love, one love. I appreciate you all. One love, one love, one love, one love.